Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Test Code Automate. So this is my 34th video for the Playwright with TypeScript series. In this video, I am going to talk about that how to read test data from the JSON file and also how to parameterize your test with different sets of data. So let's start. First, we are going to learn that how to read data from a JSON file and use it in different tests. And then we are going to check that how to parameterize a test or different tests with different sets of data. Means we would be executing the same test with different sets of data. So into the test automation, the standard process is that we keep our test script file separate from our test data. Okay. So at any time, let's say if there is any change into the test data, you will not have to go into the test script code to make that change, but you will have to just make the change into your data file. So let me explain this to you with the help of simple diagram. So suppose that you are having different test script files, okay, where you are keeping your test. So let's say this is test script 1, okay. So similarly, you are having test script 2, okay, and n number of test scripts can be there, right? Test script 3, test script 4, right? So here you are keeping your code, right? What are all the actions which you want to perform? What are all the checks which you want to perform? Okay. But we also need to enter some data into some of the tests, right? For each test script file, there are some tests where we want to enter some form fields, right? Or any data which we want to use. And for that, we are going to keep data into different data files. Okay. So there may be the different case. Let's say you are having very large number of data for each test script file. So in that case, you can create different data files for each of the test script file. Okay. So for each test, there would be one data file, right? This file may be JSON or the CSV. So it depends, right? Which file we want to use. For now, we are going to look for this JSON file. Or there may be the case that you are having very small data, okay, and you can maintain the data into the single file. So that can also be done, right? So it depends case by case, right? In your projects, let's say if you are having very large number of data, for each test script file, you maintain very large number of data. So in that case, you can keep it separately into different data files. And if you are having a very small data, which can be managed into the single file, then for each test script file, you can keep it into the single file. Okay. So it's up to you how you want to manage. So now let's see the practical example that how we can read data from the JSON file and use it into the different tests. So for this particular video, I'm going to use this Orange HRM website where I would be logging in into the application by entering the username, password. Okay. So see here into the before each hook, I am entering the username, then the password, then clicking onto the login button. And then I'm waiting for this dashboard URL to be there. And then validating this dashboard section should be displayed, right? This dashboard heading should be there. And then into the second test, I would be validating this quick launch is appearing here. Okay. Then I would be clicking onto this timesheet button. And once I click here, I would be checking this timesheet list should be displayed, right? So onto this line, I would be checking it, right? Where this timesheet list should be there. And now coming on to the second test, where I am clicking onto this recruitment button, and then I'm clicking onto this add button, then would be entering this first name, middle name, last name, email ID, and then clicking onto the save. And once I click onto the save, this application stage text should be visible here as the heading. So this is the second test, right? So here, if you will look at our test script file, so for now, we have kept our test data into our test script file only. See, here we are entering the username here, then we are entering the password into this particular line. And into this first test, we are not using any data, but into the second test, where we are entering this first name, last name, and the middle name, also the email ID. So for that also, we are keeping that data here into the test script file only. But as we discussed, right, we need to keep our test data separate from our test script file. So for now, it is hard coded, but now we would be keeping it separately into our JSON file. So let's see how we can do that. So for that, I will create one JSON file at any location you can create. Here, I would be creating one new folder for now. Here, I'm giving the name as test data. Any name you can give. And inside this test data folder, I'm going to create new file any meaningful name you can give for your data file. So let's say if you are keeping different data file for each of your test script file. So in that case, you can give the name of your test script file, then suffix as a data.json, right? So for an example here, you can give read data from external JSON file hyphen data.json, right? So it should be meaningful so that it would be easy for us to find that particular file while adding or while changing the data. For now, I'm just giving the generic name like test data1.json. And here we are going to give key and value pair, right? So how we can create the JSON file. So let's say I want to put this admin, which is username, here into the JSON file. So here, first you will have to give the key. So what would be the key? So the key would be the username, right? So this is the name. Through this, we would be able to access your data. And then after colon, what you need to give? You need to give the data, right? So with this username, I want to map this admin data, right? So let me cut and paste it here. So under the double quotes, you need to give it. So this is the username, and then this is its value. Similarly, we can do it for the password also. So this is the password. So here we can keep the key name as the password, and its value would be the admin123. So after the first value, you need to put the comma, hit enter. Okay. Then under the double quotes, you need to pass that password. Okay. So this is the name through which you would be able to find the password. Then colon, and then under the double quotes, you need to give the value. So here you can give any name, right, which you want to use. It may be uname or username1 and password1. Any meaningful name should be there, right? So now after giving the second value, let's say if I want to add more data, then I will have to put this comma. And here I want to enter this first name, last name, middle name, and the email ID. Okay. So let me put that quickly. So here f name. Okay. You can also put the first name. It's up to you. And then here I would be giving the value and comma. Then I'm giving the middle name. So let's keep it like m name. Okay. Then colon, and then again double quotes, and inside the double quotes we would be giving the data. So by this way you need to prepare your JSON file, right? Here let's put this last name. So L name colon, and then under the double quotes again its value. And here see we are getting the error because we forgot to put the comma here. So don't forget to put the comma if you are writing something into the next line. And now we need to give this email ID there. So put the comma, hit enter. Then under the double quotes, give this name, email I'm giving, then colon, and then we need to give its value. So now this is our JSON file. So this is our test data, which we would be using into our test script file. So now we can remove all these hard coding which we did, right? Here we entered the username, password, and this also we can remove, where we are entering the first name, last name, middle name, right? And the email ID also. So you can remove all the data, right? So I've removed all the hard coding. Now I would be getting data from this particular JSON file. So how I can get that data? So to get this data from this JSON file, you need to simply import that data from this JSON file. So import, and then you need to give the name, right, where you want to import. Any meaningful name should be there. For now, I'm just keeping the generic name like data1. Then from, and here you need to provide the path from where you want to import this data. So here currently I'm inside this tests folder, right? So if I will put double dot forward slash, which means I'm onto this root folder. Now I need to go to this test data folder, right? So if you will put forward slash and then type this test data, you would be able to see it here only. And then again forward slash and this file name, right? So test data1.json. So now we have imported data into this data1 from this JSON file. And now we can directly use all these data into our test script file. And how we can use that? So here we need to give this name, right, which is data1. So data1 dot, and then name of the key, right, for which you want to get the value. So here I want to get the username. So I'll have to give this username. If you will put dot and press control space, you would be able to see all the data which is available, right? So here let's give the username. Similarly, we can do it for the password also. So data1. Okay, now I want to read which property? This password, right? So select this password. So here what we are doing, we are getting data from this JSON file. So we have imported all the data into this data1, and then we are just using that data1 dot, and then that this property name we need to give so that we would be able to access the value of it. So if I'm giving the username, I would be able to access this admin and would be able to use it here, right? Similarly, let's give this first name, last name, middle name. So data1 dot f name, data1 dot l name, and then data1 dot m name, and here again data1 dot email. All these property name I have used, right? So that I would be able to access related value from this file. So that's it. By doing this, we would be able to read our JSON file, okay, and then we would be using those values inside our test script file. So let's say in future any changes happen into our test data, so we will have to just make change into this file. We will not have to go through each and every line of our test script file, right? So for now, this is very small file, but there may be n number of tests, right? There may be 50 tests into this file, and also the line of code would also be very large, right? So we will not have to go here, right? We will have to just add the data into this file. So now let me run the script. So from here only I would run the script, right? So we are able to see this test script file, and inside this we are having these two tests, right? In the first test, I am not putting any data. Into the second test, as we discussed, we are entering this first name, last name, middle name, and the email ID. Okay, and this is the before each, where we have used the username and password from this JSON file. So let me run this whole test script file. So now see, it is entering the username, password, then it verified the first test, and now it is again logging in for the second test, where it will create this candidate, right? So now this candidate got created. We are able to see this application stage, right? And our whole test script file got passed, where we were having these two tests, right? All the tests got passed. We are able to see this two passed. Now coming on to the second part, where we are going to parameterize test with the different sets of data. So here we would be executing same test with different sets of data. So let's take this particular test, okay, where we are creating different candidates, right? We are entering the first name, last name, middle name, email ID, and then we are saving those candidates under this recruitment section. So here what we are going to do, we are going to give different sets of data to this test, okay, and it will get executed that many times. So here you need to create one array, right? And how you can do that, you need to give the square brackets, right? So opening and closing of square bracket I've given, and in between this we are going to pass different sets of data. Okay, so how you can pass that? So let me remove this part. So here previously we just put the curly braces, and inside that we gave that property and that value pair, right? That key and value pair. But here we would be passing sets of that data. So like this we passed, right? We just pass these curly braces, and then we have given this property and its value. But now we are going to pass it into the different sets. And how we can do that? We need to put the comma like we put between different elements of the array, right? So this is first element of array. Now to give the second element, I need to give the comma, and then again I would be putting this curly braces, and then in between that I would be giving second set of data. Like this you can create different sets of data which you want to pass, and these many times your test will get executed. So same test will get executed with these different sets of data. So again put the curly braces, and inside this put all of your data. To format this you can directly press Alt or Shift F. Okay, and here let me change the values so that our test will get executed with these different sets of data. And here what I will do, I will create separate login data file where we would be keeping this username and password, because we are having this single username and password. So for that, what I can do, here inside this test data file, I can create new file which is login data.json, and here what I will do, I will keep this username and password, right? So let me remove it from here, and then I can keep it in this file. And if you are not having any nice data, you can remove this comma, otherwise it will show error. And here, let me create different sets of data. Okay, first let me remove this username and password, as I have kept it into the separate file. Okay, and then here I will give the name like this. I have named test1, automate1, code1, and the email ID also I am giving this testcodeautomate1@gmail.com. This is second set of data. Here I can give 2 for now. And here let's give name as ABC, am name as PQR, and last name is XYZ. And email ID also you can give like abc@gmail.com. So this is our different set of data which we would be using for this particular test, okay, where we would be entering the first name, last name, middle name, and then the email ID. So every time for each set of data, our test will get executed. For this data, it will get executed one time. For this one, it will get executed second time, and so on, right? There may be n number of sets which can be there for which our test will get executed every time. But now here we started getting error. Why? Because previously we were not using this array, right? Directly we were using this single set of data. So that's why we were able to read it directly using this data1 dot this property name, right? But this time we have got this array here. So now what to do? So here you can use this for loop to get each element of the array. And how you can do that? So for that we have this for each loop or for off loop. Both you can use. Let me show both the ways. So if you want to use this for each loop, so here you need to give this array name. So now here after this array name, you need to put the dot, and then for each you need to give for then E capital ACH, right? And this for each loop would be accepting this callback function, right? So let me give that callback function, and it would be accepting one parameter. So this parameter would be label of the each element. So let me give the name as data, and then as it is the callback function, we can use this arrow symbol here and then the curly braces, and inside this we would be passing the test. So let me cut this complete test block. Okay, and then I need to put it inside this for each loop. So what is happening here now? We have given the array, right? So this is our array which we have got from this JSON file by importing this data1 from the JSON file, the complete path you need to give. So here we have not made any change, right? You can give any name also, data array or something, any meaningful name. Okay, and then here with this array name data1 dot, we need to give the for each. Okay, and then inside this for each parenthesis you need to give the callback function. Okay, so it is taking this data as the parameter. So this parameter is label for each element of this array. So if there are 3 elements, so we are able to receive each element into this data. You can give any name here also, right? I am just keeping these names simple, but any meaningful name you can give here, right? Here, let's say if you want to keep it like this data array, that also you can do. Okay, here also you'll have to change in that case. And from this data array, we are getting this single element, which is data. Okay, and now here I'll have to give this parameter name, which is data, and then that property for which we want to get the value. So this is the key name which I need to give. So data is first element, right? Where we would be able to receive this first element in first iteration of this loop. Okay, so our for loop is going to get executed. Okay, and every time we would be able to get one element from this array. So now we have got this element, and here I can access the property of this particular element. So data.fname. Similarly, you can put data.lname, data.mname, and data.email ID. Now there is one more thing which we need to do. As we have put this test inside this for each loop, so now what is happening? Our test is going to get executed 3 times because we are having 3 elements inside this array, right? These 3 elements which are there, different sets of data. But now for each time we are giving the same title, which is add candidate for recruitment. But here into the Playwright, we cannot give the same title for each test, right? It should be unique. So in that case, what you can do, you can give unique name for this test, right? Unique title name. So here let's do it like this. After this double quotes, okay, we can put plus, okay, and then we can give any value which should be unique. So here let's give this f name only, okay. So every time our f name would be different, right? Here it is test1. Into the second iteration we are going to get test2. Into the third iteration we are going to get abc, right? So that name we can give here, right? And to give that name you need to give this data dot and then f name. So this you need to give. So now our error went away, right? So this is the string, and then we are concatenating it with the help of this variable. So every time this f name would be different and we would be able to receive the unique test title. Okay. And if you want to use the single quotes also, you can use it here. Similarly, right? There is no change. You'll have to just put the single quotes on place of double quotes, then plus, and then that value, right? This is the variable. This may be any variable. Okay. Here let's put the space so that we would be able to see add candidate for recruitment, then space, and then this name. And if you want to use the backticks, then in that case the syntax would be little different. So let me show that to you also. So here let me put the backticks here. Below the escape button into the windows, you would be able to see this backtick. Okay. So if you put the backtick, you need not to give this plus and then variable name, right? If you give this backtick, then inside the backtick you would be passing that value, which is a string, right? And here you can give this dollar, then curly braces, okay? And between the curly braces, you need to pass that variable name, right? So here let's give this data dot f name. So if you are using the double quotes and single quotes, in that case you need to use this plus and then this variable name. But in case of backticks, you need to give dollar, then curly braces, and between them you need to place that variable name. So now this part is ready. And as I told, we can either use this for each loop or we can use this for off also. Let me show that to you. So if you want to use this for off, so here you will have to give this for, okay, then parenthesis, and here you would be giving this const and then the name where you want to receive each element, right? So here we have used this data, right, into the for each. Here also you can use this data only. Off, okay, for off loop, of which of array, right? So we want to receive each element of this array, right? So here we have used this for off, okay. So for and then this name where we want to receive each element of this array, and then you simply need to put the curly braces, and inside this curly braces you will have to just put the same test, right? Here we were putting the test inside the for each, and here you will have to put it inside this for off. So let me copy it, and then here I can paste it. Okay. So any way you can use, okay. For now, I will use this for each. Let me comment out this particular part. Okay. So it's up to you if you want to use this for each or for off. And here inside this for off, you can keep this data as let, var, or const. But generally, we would not be changing value of this variable. So that's why I have kept it const. But you can change it accordingly, right? This is the way through which we would be able to read data from the JSON file, right? By importing this. And then we would be able to run our same test for each data set multiple times. So this is the process which you will have to follow. Now we can execute our test, but we need to take data for the username and password also, right? So this is the simple process which we previously also followed that we can use. So we have kept data directly inside this login data.json file, right? Where we have put the curly braces, and inside that we have given this key value pair. This is the property name and this is its value, right? So here first we will have to import that login data, right? So the same syntax you need to use, right? So to get data from the JSON file, you need to import it. Okay, import, then login data from this particular file. So double dot / then we are on to the root folder. Then we need to go to the test data folder, and here you need to give the file name, which is login data.json. Okay, so this is the file name. Here you can give any name, right? For now I have given just this login data You can give ldata or login data 1, any meaningful name you can give. And now you'll have to give this login data name where we have imported this login data.json, and then dot this property key, right, which is username. And here login data dot this password property. So we would be able to receive this admin123. So this is the simple process, right, which we previously also followed for taking all the data. So into the simple way, we are able to import the second file, and then we are able to read data from this second file. And inside this file, we have given one array where we have provided different sets of data, right? So by separating each element of the array with a comma, we have given different set of data. And here with the help of for each loop or by the for off loop, we are able to iterate through each item into this particular array. Okay. And then by using that parameter name, we are able to access each and every element for that iteration, right? So into the first iteration, we would be able to get this set of data where we would be able to access each property, right? F name, M name, L name, email name. So this property name should be same into each set, right? But this value can be different. And for each set, our test will get executed. Okay, here if you will come onto this testing tab also. So see, here we are able to see 4 tests, right? But currently we are having these 2 tests only here into our test script file. But as we have used this for each loop, it is able to iterate through that loop, and then it is showing that we are having 3 tests, right? Because we are having 3 sets of data. And here also, if you will see the name, because we have put this variable name here, right? This is dollar, and then inside the curly braces, we have put this data.f name. So that's why we are able to see that name here also, right? Test1, test2, and ABC. So automatically it is able to read that data and is able to show it here, right? Inside our testing tab also for each test. For now, here we have used the backticks, but you can use double quotes and single quotes also, right? In that case, you'll have to concatenate that variable name with the help of plus icon. Now let me run the script. So this time I will execute it through the command. So here you need to give this npx playwright test, and for now I will just execute it onto the Chrome browser only. So hyphen project equals to Chromium, right? And now hit enter. So here it will start the execution. See, it is running 4 tests. Why? Because this is the first test which is going to get executed single time, and here we have used this for each. So it is going to iterate for each of the data set, and then it will execute same test multiple times. In this case, 3 times, right? So see here into the browser, I think it has already logged in first time and executed first test, and here it is executing the second test. Okay, and similarly again it will log out, and then it will execute this test second time and then the third time. So now see, our execution is just going to get completed for the last test also, and we would be able to see the passed result. Okay, so see, our all the tests got passed. And if you want to have a look at the HTML report also, so you can use this npx playwright show report command, right? So here you'll have to give npx playwright then show -report. Hit enter, so that you would be able to see the HTML report onto the browser, right? So see, this report got open, and here also we are able to see the 4 tests. So this is the first test which got executed single time, and this is the second test which got executed 3 times for each of the data set, and here we are able to see the name also. And here one more thing, if you want to execute your test cases parallelly, let's say you are executing this test multiple times, okay, by using different sets of data. For now we have given 3 sets of data, but you want to create those candidates here into this test 50 times, okay? So in that case, you can also execute your tests parallelly just to save the time, right? Here you will have to change some settings. So here I have kept this fully parallel to false, so you'll have to put it true, okay? And then you will have to give the workers count. So for now we have kept the workers count as 1, but let's say if you want to parallelly execute your test cases, right? So if you want to use 5 as the worker, okay, so this is for the CI/CD part. So if we are executing our test cases onto the CI/CD, then it should have count as 1 or any number of count you can give. So it would be having that many number of workers. And then this is the count for the local execution. So for the local execution, here if I've given the 5 count, so parallelly it would be able to execute 5 tests. So these two settings you need to change. First is the fully parallel, which should be true, and then workers count you need to increase accordingly, right? About this playwright.config.ts file, I've already explained you in detail into one of my video. If you have not watched that video, I would recommend you to watch the video. I will provide the link of that video into the description, or you can click onto this I button at top right corner to access that video. So now if you will execute your test script, it will get executed, okay, with this 5 workers. So parallelly it would be able to execute multiple tests, right, as per your count. For now I'm not executing it again, but yeah, you can try it with this workers so that you would be able to execute it parallelly. So yeah, that's it for this particular video. Let me give you the quick recap. So till now what we were doing into our playlist, we were keeping our test data with our test script file itself, right? But to organize it into the better way, we usually keep our test script file separate from our test data. So that's why we have created data file. So here we are using this JSON file, okay, where we are keeping all our data, and into our test script file, we are importing this JSON file, and then we are using that data. So here into the script, if you have seen, you can see this login example, right, where we have kept data into this particular file. Okay, inside the curly braces, you need to give this key and value pair. This is the property and this is its value, right? And here you will have to just import it, give any name, meaningful name from, and then this file path. And then inside your test, you can directly use it by using this name dot that property. Okay, so this is the username and password which we have passed. So we would be able to access its value. And then we learned about this parameterized test, where we were able to run the same test with different sets of data, right? So we executed this test with different sets of data, where inside our JSON file, we have created one array, okay? And inside that, we have given different elements of array. So these are the different sets of data which we have passed here. And in the similar way, we need to again import this JSON file. Okay, here we have imported this data array from this JSON file, which is testdata1.json. And then we can use this for each loop, or you can also use this for off loop, okay, where you can iterate through each item of that array. The array is there into this JSON file. And then we were able to access each element. If you are using this for each, then this would be the syntax, right? The array, right, which we have got from the JSON file dot for each, and then you need to pass a callback function where it would be accepting one parameter, and this name will have each and every element of that array one by one. Through the each iteration we would be getting it, and here you can use this name dot that key value, right? So for each data set, the key value would be the same, f name here, right, m name, l name, email. And if you want to use this for off, so you'll have to give it like this, for, and then inside the brackets you need to give this const or lat, and then that name, right? So this name will receive each and every element of that array, right? Let me remove this comment so you would be able to see it properly. So here for loop we have given, so here for loop we have given from this particular data array, we want to retrieve each and every element, right, one by one. So from this data array, we would be able to receive it one by one, and here we can use this name dot the name of that property which we want to access for each data set. Here we are seeing the error because the name is getting matched with this test. Let me put 1 here so we would be able to see this error gone. Now let me comment it out. And we also saw, right, if we want to execute our test cases parallelly, so you can change these settings. So parallelly it would be a little fast to execute the simple test multiple times, right here. So it's up to your requirement, right? If you want to execute it parallelly, so that you can do. Otherwise you can keep the old settings also, where we can put this fully parallel to false. So yeah, that's it from my end. You can click onto this first card to go to the next video. You can click onto the second card to access the whole Playwright tutorial playlist, and stay tuned for my upcoming videos. If you have any comments, questions or doubts, you can let me know into the comment section below. Please like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much. Have a great day.